Welcome to Linux Plus. Well, Linux is not easy, and I get that. My goal here is to make Linux easy to understand. In the next section, we are going to discuss our topic for today. I'll see you there. So today's video, we're going to discuss about how to change the IP address in Linux command line. We'll go through a couple of different commands, just the very basic commands. I'm not going to go into details today. But in the coming few videos, we'll go through in detail about everything that we can do with Linux, and it's just trying to make it easy for a basic user to sort of manage everything in Linux, just the way we see, for example, in graphical user interface in Windows. So just going to be really basic setup and easy to understand. I'll see you there. Okay, so the server that I just set it up, I have to log into that using a root account and using the correct IP address. Okay, so by default, when you, for example, used an ISO image and you set up the VM, you will have to create an account. For example, in this case, is this root account, and I will log in with that. And now let's make it a bigger and a bit more interactive. So let's say we want to change it to 24, yeah. And let's say use system colors. That way it's easy to see. Okay, so now in Windows, for example, we see pretty much everything that is right in front of us. There's a graphical user interface. Now, if someone comes to you, for example, in a Linux environment, let's say you are a user and your system administrator asks you, hey, this is the IP address, you need to change it for your machine. So what do you do, for example? How is the way to change the IP address in the Linux command line interface? Okay, so first of all, you can use this command to find out your current IP address. In my case is 192.168.189.113. So this is by default. You might have selected at the time when you were creating a VM, or it just happens to be the case that you need to change your IP address. Now, in Linux, the directory you need to go is etc systemconfig network scripts. And now this is the path where your old network scripts are. And now, for example, if you want to see what's in there, you just type ls, and it will show you exactly what the right configuration is for network scripts. So in this case, we have to go to ifcfg-etho. So this is the, you can say, adapter where we have to configure our IP address. So for example, I will use vi and ifcfg, or you know what, just to show you, you can actually click on it and it will be copied. Okay, enter. And if you want to edit that, because I'm using vi editor, there are other editors, for example, nano or vim editor, I guess. You press I here, and now let's say I want to change from DHCP to static. For example, in Windows, when we give a static IP address, so this will be a static IP address here, and then you add the default information down there. What is your current IP information here? So for example, in my case, my IP address is going to be 192.168.189.141, and you need to find, for example, your network administrator might give you the subnet mask as well, and your gateway as well, and your DNS information as well. So once everything is done, you press escape and colon WQ to save the changes. Now changes are saved. For example, if you want to go back directory, you type cd-, it will take you back to the directory, right? For example, if we want to see what's the host name, it's now saying that the host name is localhost. What if we want to change it? So you can type either host name, and for example, this is Linux Plus, or you can do vi let's see, hostname. and then you type here, for example, what is the host name? In this case is Linux Plus. You press escape again, colon, WQ. So like in this case, for example, we have changed the host name, we have changed the IP address, and now what else we have done? We have changed from DHCP to static IP address. And now the question is, for example, what about the adapter, for example, how to change the adapter up or down, for example. So we go to again setting for the sys config, and then network scripts ls. You'll see, for example, here it is if down, and what is the other option? So if down, you have so many different options here. For example, if up. So essentially this will bring the adapter up or down. Now if you want to go back, what other options we have? Let's say if you want to update. I mean in CentOS, for example, CentOS, you'll type the command yum update. This will update the packages. So it will pretty much do everything. I'll say no, don't want to do it, because it will take some time, but you can actually update all the packages, including the kernel as well. Now, what's the other interesting command, for example? What about if you want to check the history, like what has been typed already? You can just type history. It will show you exactly what has happened before. What about if you don't want to type a command and then you want to just search from previously typed command, for example, you press Ctrl R, and you just type anything that matches with what you have typed before. For example, in this case, we can type network. It will search the network script. So you don't have to type the whole command again. You just press enter, and you're there. ls, and you can see what's in there. So now, for example, I type clear, right? What about if you don't want to type clear? Just do Control D. And it's disconnected. But you don't want that, right? Here. Now, for example, if we go again, 192.168.189.113, and type root 20 FC1 SA0 $sign. And man, this is the thing that I hate. Probably I need to just save the setting, but you get the idea. You know, the idea is, for example, to just make it easy for you to understand the Linux. Because I have seen it, there's just so much of confusion. System colors. Okay, we're back to normal now. Alright, to disconnect the session, you type Control D. This will lock you out. Okay, so now, for example, I can see that the host name is changed, right? What about my IP address? So my IP address is still the same because it needs probably a reboot, for example. So now let's say if I do, let's say if I want to install a package, let's say I like the package, let's say htop. So you can type the command yum install htop. This is just a utility to see what's already using in your system. Okay. So package htop is already installed, nothing to do. What about here? So you can see, for example, what's already running. Quick. There's another repo that if you want to install, which has got some nice packages. You do yum install apple release. Yes. Clear. If you want to install, let's say, an editor, for example, you name Joe. Yum install Joe. Cool. So this is the editor you can use. It's just pretty easy to actually install the packages. What else is there? I mean, you have, let's say, you want to go to your root directory. You can just type cd root here, or and then you have let's say if you see that if the IP address is applied or not. So sudo reboot. So now this is rebooting. So let me just close the session. We go back to party again, and this time we type the IP address that we have given static. So it should actually have picked up the IP address that we have given. So this is just to demo to see, for example, how to change the IP address, because this is something that, for example, it's easy to do in Windows, and being a user or even a network administrator, you should know that, for example, like how to sort of do it in command line interface. For example, if I do open this one here now, and we'll type in the username root, and then we put the password. Oh, bang. So we are in now. Let's make it bigger again. Change to 24. Okay. Keep typing the wrong word here. Okay. So now if I say grep INET. So for example, we're going in the config for IP and want to just grab the INET. So now we can see that this is the IP address that we just modified before. So look, in Linux is it looks scary initially, the command line interface, but once you understand it, you get a bit of taste of it. It just becomes really easy. So in the next few videos, I will actually go through how to set up the public keys and private keys, and also how to set up the whole mechanism for free IP server with Kerberos authentication and more interesting commands. My job is actually here to make it really easy for a common user to sort of understand that, hey, Linux is not scary at all. This is what I'm gonna do. I'll see you in the next video. Cool. Have a good one. Bye. Alright guys, that's it for today. Please like and support our channel. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this. I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.